Well, welcome everyone to our monthly Best Practices Masterclass. Great to connect with you. We've got a small group live, but we also know a lot of people listen to this after the recording. So our session is going to be a little bit different today. So for the folks that are live here, you're going to have a chance to actually build some resources, discussions, and assignments. For the folks that are listening to this, you can go through the same exact process. You'll have access to some of the supporting materials from today. So you can still get a really practical session. We're going to be focused on how to build consistency across your program with 3 key Coachmetrix features. So more on that here in a moment. We're going to first talk about areas of repeatability in your programs. That's going to be key. Today, we'll talk about how to leverage 3 different features to create consistency and take advantage of anything that you're doing that's repeatable in your programs or your coaching practice. And then we'll have a working session for you to actually build out some resources, some discussions, and some assignments. A couple of master classes that are coming up, and I think these are going to be important, April 22nd and May 20th. So I'll plant the seed. We are launching Coachmetrix 2.0. That will launch either at the end of April or first week in May. And so in these master classes, we're really going to be spending some time reviewing the Coachmetrix platform, showing you where it's similar, showing you where it's changed. The great news is largely it is really an upgrade of just the look and feel as well as navigation. So all of the features will largely function the same way. And then over the next 9 months, we're going to be releasing some new significant features onto the platform. So more to come on that. Love to see you in our future master classes. If you haven't heard me say this before, Coachmetrix is built by coaches for coaches. And we started noticing and finding the need for Coachmetrix when we noticed people in our leadership development programs. When we had action plans that were paper-based, either people didn't complete them or they didn't complete them to the extent that drove behavioral change. That was one of the first needs that came up. And then we started to notice people expected more and more electronic versions of tools and access to platforms as opposed to the traditional pen and paper in workshops and coaching sessions. And finally, what really prompted us to build Coachmetrix was around the data. And how can we prove that our coaching and leadership development programs are working as a result of the engagements that we're running? And so that led us to build Coachmetrix. We love your feedback. Help us create the platform for the future. We can't promise we'll build everything that you ask for, but we will promise that we listen. So that's our commitment to you. All right, let's jump in. We only have a couple of people on the line, but I'm going to ask you as a sort of a lead-in question for today to think about or to brainstorm about any process or communication in your coaching practice that is repeatable in how you work with a client or how you work with clients. So if you think about anything that you do on most of your client engagements, that would apply to this question. So for the folks that are on the line, maybe take a second to type some of your ideas here in the chat box. And I'll also share a couple of ideas with you. So for example, I always have coaching agreements with my clients. Or I usually send or always send a reminder message to my clients before a coaching session with some questions that I want them to respond to. What's something that is repeatable that you do with your clients? Greg, you mentioned you send notes. Great. Reminders of sessions. Awesome. And for you, Susan, you mentioned setting coaching goals. Great. Let's keep that in mind. I've got an idea for you. And then also supporter engagement. Awesome. So the idea here is to really think about anytime you are doing repeatable steps that apply to most or all of your coaching engagements. And the idea is that we have some features in Coachmetrix that you can leverage to make those more consistent in terms of having a consistent experience for your clients, but also make them more efficient for you as the coach. All right, so a couple of features, 3 features that I want to review, because these are the 3 key features that will help you create that repeatability and consistency in your engagements. Resources, discussion templates, and assignments. So let's talk about resources. Resources is a feature that we built it really with the intent of enabling the coach to build a library of material. So what we know about coaches and trainers is we usually have a ton of content. The idea was, how do we get that content online, but in a way that is super easy to build and not complex like many learning management systems or e-learning type systems. So a resource might consist of any combination of text, video, document uploads, or images. And once you build the resource and it's sitting in your library, it's not shared with participants until you actually share it with your participants. So you can build it once and then share it across all of your projects with as many or as few participants as you want. You can also customize the resource if you want for each participant. And the participant, once they receive that resource, they have the ability to respond to that resource. So if you've got some reflection questions in it, they can respond and you can kind of create a 2-way dialogue. So that's the resource feature. The second feature is a discussion template feature. And discussions in general are private messages that happen between a coach and a participant. Either the coach can initiate the discussion or the participant can initiate the discussion. If the coach initiates the discussion, you can share that discussion with multiple participants who are on that project at the same time. So if you're running like a leadership development cohort or you're coaching multiple people at the same time and you have a common message that you want to send out, you can send it to multiple people. There's also a scheduling feature. So you can, I'm going on spring break next week as an example. I sent out a reminder message to a leadership development cohort. There's one going out on Monday, and then there's one going out the following Monday. So you can use that scheduling feature to get those discussions in advance. The discussion template is a tool that allows you to build a template once and then pull it into a discussion at any point in time later on. So we're going to build a template here shortly. The third feature are assignments, and you can think about assignments as a task list. So if you end a coaching session and you want your client to do 3 things, you can create tasks or assignments, and then you can share those assignments. And then those assignments stay in the library of assignments so you can use them on future projects. So resources, discussion templates, assignments. Before I move forward, I want to just make sure that you've got clarification. Do you need any answers on how those features are different or how you might use those different features?
I just had one question, Sal. On assignments,
Yes.
if you send them to people, one of the challenges I've had is that people will respond to them and like say, I can do this, or I can't do this, or I need this, and try to send it back to me. And I never get what they send me. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. So is assignments just a one-way tool?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And
right.
it is a one-way tool. And when we look at like an assignments, let me just see if I can pull up if Greg's got an assignment here. He's got one assignment. So he's got 3 assignments. Yeah. So I wonder, Susan, are they clicking on, how are they responding to that assignment? You're on mute, Susan.
I know.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's okay. Well, I'll do that.
It's warning me. When I send something out to people, then they're like, they say they tried to respond.
Oh, I wonder if they're responding to the email. Okay.
Yeah.
So thanks for that feedback.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at it and play around with it. Yeah. The intent of the assignments is that it just becomes a task list.
Right.
And at some point later in Coachmetrix 2.0, we are
Right.
building a feature that will allow you to track like coaching sessions and things like that, that might be more interactive. I'm not sure.
Right.
But let me look into that to see. It is not intended to be a discussion, which is two-way. It's intended to really be a task
Right.
list. And then for the coach or the coachee to be able to check off those tasks.
Right.
And then there's a reporting function where you can export the assignments
Okay.
and the status of assignments. So you can kind of track that activity.
Okay.
Thanks for asking that question. Greg, for you, any questions on the distinction between resources, discussion templates, and assignments? Okay, I'm going to assume no. So we're going to do some work here. And the opportunity now is for you to open up your Coachmetrix account. So sign into Coachmetrix. And we're going to first build a resource. Then we're going to build a discussion template. And then we're going to build some assignments. Susan, are you using any resources in your coaching practice?
Yeah, I was just actually looking them. I've got my desktop right here.
Mm-hmm.
I've used specific articles. I've stolen your welcome kit and things like that.
Yep.
But overall, I have them. I don't use them as much as I should.
Okay.
So I've been, let's put it this way, I've been toying with them.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's toy with them a little bit more. And so right now in the chat box, I put a link to a Google Doc. Click on that link. And for folks that are listening, this Google Doc is also available for you if you're listening to this recorded message. So you can go through the same process. Susan, I see that you just entered into that Google Doc.
I did.
And what I want to show you is this first resource. We're going to build a resource. So what I want you to do is to go into your Coachmetrix account, click on the resources tab. And when you get there, so you'll see the resources tab on the left-hand side. Once you're there, click on the plus, add new resource, and utilize the information inside the Google Doc to create your resource. And we're going to call this resource, this is a tool by Marshall Goldsmith. If any of you follow Marshall's work, it's called Daily Questions. And so I'm just putting the title in there called Daily Questions. I'm going to label this version 2 because this is already in my Coachmetrix account. And then inside the Google Doc, I've got some content about the process itself. And I also have some instructions on how to use the process. And I also have a link to a YouTube video of Marshall talking about the process. Copy that information into your resource area and click Add Resource. And when you've done that, let me know, because you've just created a resource in about 35 seconds. And while we're doing that, I am going to. So what I really wanted to demonstrate with that, building that resource, is how easy it is. So imagine that you have a Word document that is a tool that you already have in your library of tools. In many cases, all you have to do is copy and paste what you have into the body of a resource, and now you have an online tool that you can share with your clients. And to get the video inside of that resource, all you have to do is copy and paste either a YouTube link or a Vimeo link. You don't even need the embed code. You're just copying a link. That's all it is. And let's go back into that resource again. So let me show my screen. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to, in your chat box, you're going to see an attachment. It's a Word document. I want you to go back into the resource. So if I go back, I'm going to show my screen again. If I go back into my resource,
Okay.
and I edit my resource, and the attachment that I added is a Word document. It's a simple template. So I'm going to take that template and I'm just going to drag the template and put it in my resource. Drag and drop it into the resource itself. And for some reason, it's not. This is, I don't know why that's not interesting. Okay, there it is.
Let me try it as well, just in
Yeah,
case.
I just dragged it to a different space on the
Okay.
resource. And then I save the resource. And now my resource includes a downloadable document, a template for the daily questions. It includes the text on what this tool is. It includes a video of Marshall talking about his daily questions model. This is a great resource for your coaching clients. Simple, easy to build. And my guess is that in your library of content that you have somewhere on your desktop, you can build 20 or 30 other resources in probably a matter of a couple of hours, maybe not even that much. Any resource that you have, you can create pretty easily inside of Coachmetrix.
I'm having a problem dragging and dropping it for whatever reason.
Yeah, first I was too, Susan. We'll have to look into that. Drag and drop it to the top of the resource instead of the bottom of the
I
resource.
mean, I can't even get it to move out of the chat box.
Oh, you'll have to download it first from the chat
Oh,
box.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, got it. That makes sense.
Yeah, you'll have to download it first and then drag and drop it from your laptop into the resource.
Okay, there it goes.
John, did that work for you?
I was working on something else there, so I did not
Okay.
try to do that.
No problem. What we're demonstrating here, John, is just how easy it is to build a resource so that you can add repeatability into your coaching engagement. So for example, I know a lot of coaches use this tool in their coaching. It's a simple tool for people to reflect every day about the things, the actions that are most important for them to take to be effective either as a leader or in their personal life. And so this is a great tool that you might use across multiple coaching engagements that you can build once and use multiple times with very little effort.
That makes sense. I'll do that after this
Cool.
this
And-
particular video conference. Thank you.
And John and anyone that's listening to this recording, will keep that Google Doc available to you. So you can find that Google Doc here in the chat box. Let me show it again. Or if for some reason, I wonder if we can put it on the community page, Elise, when we post the video. That might be just to make sure everyone has access to it.
It's a very nice feature.
Yeah, it's very simple, but it's a
Yes.
great way to get your content online, right? And so I probably have 100 different resources in my actual coaching account. This is just a demo account, but basically all of the tools that I use in my coaching practice, they are built inside this library, and we leverage them as needed, and it becomes very, very repeatable. All right, let's move on to the second one, which is, I think this is a cool feature. This feature came from one of our longtime subscribers. And this is what we call a discussion template. And so I want to share an example with you inside of the Google Doc. If you scroll down to the next page, you'll see content for a coaching session reminder. Let me show you how this works first, and then you can build your own. So if I'm in my project and I'm getting ready to have a coaching session with Greg Smithy, and I want to send Greg a pre-message, You have a few ways to do it. Traditionally, coaches will send their clients an email. The problem with that is it's an email. And so I have to download a Word document, fill it out, upload a Word document, send it back, and then my notes get lost. I have to look in 2 or 3 different places. Instead, why not send your pre-coaching session message as a discussion? And if you build a discussion template, my pre-messages are about the same 95% of the time. If you build a template, you can pull from the template and it auto-populates the body of the email. All you have to do is change the name, add your name in here. And now the reason why we do this is because we have multiple coaches on our team. But if you're a solo practitioner, just put your name in the body of the email. And then if there's anything you want to customize, like the date and time, you can certainly do that. And
Very
then
nice.
once you click start the discussion, it sends the discussion. So it's repeatable. I don't have to copy and paste it. I don't have to look for emails that I've sent previously and change someone's name. I can just build a template. So let's go through this process now by, first of all, click on the templates tab on the left side of Coachmetrix. Susan, are you using any discussion templates in your practice?
No, because I tell you what has happened. When I have sent them in the past, the feedback I got from clients is it sends it as a link and then they open it and then they respond to it and then they resend it and it goes back. So though a couple of people I've tried it with said, just send me an email instead, because they viewed it as an extra step.
Gotcha. So what happens when you send a discussion is
Yeah.
it sends the content of your message.
Mhm.
So someone can read the full content, but then
Right.
there's a link in that email to reply to the discussion, and it takes
Right.
them into the thread of Coachmetrix. So yeah, I guess for the user, that's a good point. Like they have to click on that link and then reply. But
Well,
it's
and yeah, and I think part of it is because so many of my clients use Google, right? So they can reply, they can add a task, they can assign a task. They go back to the mental map they have, right?
yeah,
But where I have used it is when I do some pro bono coaching or board work or something like that, then I can keep it all in one place as well, because don't hear this the wrong way, but they're not as sophisticated of users, right?
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, let's try to build one. What we
Yeah.
found is people assumptively will use this feature if you tell them that's how you coach.
Okay.
We've never gotten pushback on it, although I could see the idea of making a feature improvement so people can just reply to the email instead of having to go into the actual thread. To create a discussion template, click on the templates feature tab on the left-hand side, click create a template, and then name the template. We've got a name inside of the Google Doc. You can copy and paste coaching session reminder. And I'm going to just write V2 here because this is already in our templates. And then coaching template subject. Now, what I like to do is I like to keep a consistent name and date. That way, when you or the client are looking through all of your discussions, you have this really beautiful history of your coaching engagement. I'll show you that in a minute. But what I'll do is I'll put a template in here and I'll say, enter the number of, and then enter the total coaching session. So every time they see a discussion from me, it will say coaching session 1 of 12, reminder and prep on this date, coaching session 2 of 12, coaching session 3 of 12. And then I just simply copy my content from the Google Doc into the body of the template. And when I hit submit, I now have my template is saved. Okay, so anytime I'm sending a pre-message to my coachees, my participants, if I go back into my engagement with Greg Smithy, I'm just pulling from a template. I don't have to upload Word documents. I don't have to find what my message is. I'm just literally pulling from that template. And what starts to become really nice when you send your pre-message and your coaching session notes is you create this really nice history of the engagement. Coaching session 1 notes, January 1st. Coaching session 2, reminder and prep, January 15th. Coaching session 2 notes, January 15th. Coaching session 3, reminder and prep. Coaching session 3 notes. So as a coach, if you're getting ready for a coaching session, all you need to do is look in one place to review a history of notes from the entire engagement. And for your coachee, as they're getting ready for their coaching session with you, all of their notes and reminders are inside of the discussion feature.
See, that
So-
would be helpful to use, because then you have a specific track for them to follow and they don't have to go back
Exactly.
and find it.
And it's this, and right now they have to go back and find it.
Right.
So it's not that hard. We will take that comment from you, Susan. It is a legitimate comment. It is one extra step for them. They do have to click on that link. But once they click on that link, it takes them right into the body of this thread. And then their responses are right here. So
Right.
even though it takes maybe a little bit more, one more click, they don't have to download anything and they don't have to look for stuff later on.
Right. Can you attach anything to that? Let's say
Sure.
you're wanting them to look over a series of survey items you've written for them. Can you
Yep.
attach and put an attachment on that?
Yeah, you just, when you're building the discussion, so
Yeah.
let's say I'm pulling from this template,
Right.
and if you want to attach something, just attach it like you would any other discussion.
Okay.
Okay. Now and then it'll go out, the message will go out, and it will
Okay.
include whatever attachment you have in there.
Okay.
Okay. And then
see.
you'll see there's a little attachment icon that shows up here in the discussion.
And go back
Right.
again. It looks like you dragged and dropped it. Is there another way to do it? Is there a
Yep.
regular
You
attachment
can
thing?
either drag or drop, or you can click
Select
this
files. I
link,
see it
select
now. Got
files,
it.
yeah, and then just
Yeah.
pick anything that's
Okay.
on your actual desk computer.
Got it.
Now, to your question, you cannot attach anything to the actual template that you build.
Mhm.
You have to attach it to the discussion that you're sending out to your client.
Right. Of course.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So that is the repeatable discussion template. Let's build one more thing, because I think this is also a super great tool. Anytime you have a client that is doing repeatable tasks and you want to give them an assignment so they know what to do next, you can use the assignment feature. So let me give you an example. In our practice, with many of our executive coaching clients, we go through a 360 feedback process. And as part of that process, there are a series of tasks that people have to do. They have to reflect on their 360. And then we ask them to create an action plan. And then we ask them to add Coachmetrix supporters. So why not create some assignments once that you could then use across all of your engagements? So if you go back into that Google Doc and you go one more page, you'll see some content for assignments, and it's labeled 360 feedback process. So you can access content there. And then inside of Coachmetrix, on your set of tabs on the left-hand side, there's an assignments tab. And if you want to create a set of assignments that are based on a 360 process, you're just going to click new assignment. You're going to give the assignment a milestone name. In this case, let's call it 360 feedback assignments. And then we're going to label the assignment. So you can just copy and paste whatever it is that you want them to do. Complete your 360 process. And then there's a description field, so you can add a little bit more description of the assignment if you choose to. And then once you create that assignment, the assignment is created and it's housed in the body of your assignments, library, if you will. And then whenever you're ready to send out your assignments, you can click on whatever assignments you want to send. excuse my scrolling because we have a lot of assignments in here. And then we'll assign those to a participant. You can choose the project that you want that you're assigning it to. In this case, we'll assign it to Greg Smithy. If you want, you can add a due date, and that attaches a due date. It's the same due date for every assignment. And then you can add those assignments. And then if I go back into Greg Smithy's account and I look at his assignment, here are some of the assignments. I just added these 3 assignments to his account. Now, if I want to adjust the date, because these 3 assignments have different dates, I can always adjust those as the coach and change the date. So assignments is the third area that once you build the library, those assignments they just stay in your library, and then you can use them across all of your projects. Similar to discussion templates. Once you build them, you can use them across all of your projects. Similar to resources. Once you build them, you can use them across all of your projects. So let me pause there for a minute. What questions do you have about the assignments feature?
Can I loop back to the templates? Because I noticed on the assignments, if you make them and you click on it, you can go, assign, there's a button at the bottom that says assign to participants.
Right.
When I go to templates, I see the coaching session reminder. I don't see where I can edit it, but there's a submit button, but it doesn't tell me where I send it to. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm missing that link. I apologize.
No, you don't need to apologize, because this is one of the things that we're fixing in Coachmetrix 2.0.
Oh, okay.
So at a high level, Susan, we built all of these features over the last couple of years independently from each other.
Right.
And the user flow is different.
Right.
Over this next several months, we're going to be rebuilding these features so that the flow of how you build them and assign them is the same. So
Okay.
now, having said that, let me show you how to do that. You're correct. When you build a discussion template, so when
Right.
I'm in my templates,
Right.
this is a place where I can build them, but there's no way for me to send these templates to a participant.
Right.
I can edit them. There's a little pencil off to the right. So I
Right.
can change the templates. If I want to send the templates or if I want to use the templates, I actually have to be in my project, working with my Greg Smithy participant, and I click on create a discussion, and then you'll see a drop-down box that allows me to choose a template that's already built.
Okay, where did you click there's add a private note. Go back to where you discovered the template in that.
Yep. So if
Okay.
you click on start a two-way discussion.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to go to a live one that if I accidentally send it out, they won't be mad.
Okay.
Oh, I see. At the top of my screen on the right-hand side, maybe I'm not far enough in. So you have to go to post feedback round. Where do you get,
No,
there it is.
It should be on.
Start a two-way discussion. I see it.
So click that. And then
Right.
you'll see a couple things here, Susan. First of all, you'll see this drop-down box that allows you to choose from templates that you've already built.
Right. Got it.
So once you choose it, it will auto-populate the subject line and the body of the email.
Got it.
Okay. And then you can customize it if you want to change the name or even the content.
Right.
While we're here, let me show you one other thing, because
Yeah.
this may apply to some of the work you're doing. You also can send the same discussion message out to multiple people
Okay.
that are on the project. So there's a drop-down box above the template drop-down,
Mm-hmm.
and you can choose if you want this message to go out to other people on your project.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say you've got a cohort of people in a leadership development program, and you're sending a pre-message before a workshop. You can use the discussion feature and copy everybody on that message. Or maybe you're sending some follow-up notes with next steps after that workshop, and there's 10 people on that project. You can send that message once and send it out to all 10 people. So we're cleaning that feature up a little bit with Coachmetrix 2.0 so that it looks and feels similar. The drop-down boxes look a little different. We're going to make some changes to that so that it looks and feels a little bit easier and to use and to navigate.
Got it.
Okay. So
Thank you.
you're welcome. That's what we wanted to get to today. For folks, again, that are listening to the recording, we'll make sure that we post a link to the Google Docs so you can see how easy it is to copy and paste from existing content into either a discussion template, a resource, or an assignment feature. We all have a lot of content. Most trainers and coaches do. So now we can take that content, put it online into Coachmetrix, and create some more consistency across your programs and repeatability on your engagement. So thanks everyone for joining me today.